let's be on camera, and I'm going to also record us. What's up? Are you seeing us? Do you guys see us? We are live, Christian. Oh, I see us. So, okay, I'm going to share this.
Imagine
guys,
that. You clicked a button and we're live, Shanali. We're live. It worked. We did it. And you slapped your knee.
Okay, I'm going to share this.
Imagine that. You clicked the button and we're live, Shanali. We're live. It worked. We did it.
Uh-oh.
Someone had to mute their Facebook feed. It's a good thing that we have 3 minutes to figure out all these things.
Oh, there we go. It's on my phone. It's on my phone. I'm trying to share it to my profile. Hi, guys. The show doesn't officially start for 3 minutes, and Justin, the intern, is doing some important work tonight, so he's not with us. So Christian and I decided to entertain you all. The pre-show warm-up is with the host.
So this is not the show, just so you all know.
No, this is not the
show.
This is us preparing to talk to you all. And
yeah, Chanel, are you warmed up? Are you loose? Are you ready to go? You need to do some vocal warm-ups?
I really do.
Are you still working on sharing?
I was, yeah, I'm sharing this to my, I don't know if it worked, but I think I just shared it to my, I think I shared it. Guys, can you let me know? Maybe I'll see comments, but did I share this to my personal feed? Because that's what I wanted to do.
Please let Shanali know. Go check Shanali's Facebook page and let us know.
Yeah.
Did she share this to her feed? We have a very special show.
I want to. Yeah, because I want you guys. Look, we have special guests tonight, important guests. It'll be a one-of-a-kind show. Here we go. I think I'm doing it now. I might do it twice, guys. If you are watching Matt, let us know if we are sharing this to our person.
Yeah. Are you getting our meta message?
Oh man, Christian, it's good to see you. I'm like,
Shanali, it's good to see you too. It is good to see you too. So many things to be thankful for.
I think so.
And holiday season.
I think without knowing it, we came up with like the best night of the week ever to do a show together. Because it definitely falls in between holidays at all times.
You're right.
And after every holiday, we get to see each other.
You're right.
Do some debriefing. Like, I mean, because time with the family is always.
God knows holidays demand a debrief.
Well, we always have to debrief. That's the way it goes.
We do. But you're looking good. You're looking like you're ready for the show.
I'm ready for the show. I got my cards ready to go. We miss you, Justin the intern, but we're going to do this without you tonight. And
yeah. Next time, give us a little bit more notice. Justin, on not being able to join us. That would be helpful.
Does that mean that this card tonight goes like this?
I don't even know if we need the card, to be honest, Shanali. Hey, listen, look, oh my gosh, it's 8.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. It's time. You ready?
Ready. Should we do it?
Yep. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't even know. We don't even know. With Christian, Felix, Shanali, Bowman. We don't even know. We don't even know. We don't even know. With Christian, Felix, Shanali, Bowman. Sometimes Justin the intern. We don't even know. Woo, Lord.
Woo! Wow, that song instant lose an answer.
It's a number. It is really. It's on the Spotify playlist all over the place. You would not believe it. I can't take it off. I
I
can't
know.
get it
You know
out of
what?
there.
I hear Adele plays it in repeat mode. It's like easy on me. We don't even know. It's like a nice balance to her ish is. But it's a cool album. Chanel, you're
Well,
looking
Christian,
fantastic after in the
thank you.
Thanksgiving aftermath. How many pumpkin pies did you eat?
You know what? Not even one.
Oh,
Not even one. And there was leftover apple pie at the end, and my mom had something to say about it. That I was like, I can't eat everything. I've talked to you about this. I love being with my parents. I had such a good time being with them, but it's always she doesn't want us to leave any food. And
right,
it's just like culturally, it's a part of our culture. You're supposed to clean your plate. She
right.
grew up with very little food, so she gets a little stressed out if there's food left. And
Sure.
so, anyway, I had that apple. I made a galette. I made a French
Oh,
galette.
well, look at
And,
you, Julia
hmm
Childs. All right, calm
hmm
down with yourself. I see you. Right, a galette. Okay. That's some fancy cake. Wow.
So she had an issue. It's for her anyway. Let's go back. Let's go back to where we last were with
Yeah.
each other. We were together on Halloween, which was after our last show.
Oh, we were. That's right.
hmm hmm And I don't know what's all. Do you see these? We have like I don't know.
What's going
What
on?
do you notice? We have people in our waiting room that we don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
don't.
Can you look in the let me make sure you can see this.
I can't see. I can't see. Oh, this may be my sister calling in from a different
You let's
device.
let's check in on that because yeah, I'm not sure. We got to make sure that our guests have the right names. Anyway, guys, we're not sure what's happening there, but I just wanted to go back to sharing what we did for Halloween. And oh, I'll take, you know what? Okay, so we have two guests in our waiting room, and I'm not sure they they need to
Oh, that
change their
might be me.
profile.
Julie just came in and she shared the Zoom link with some friends. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So, no friend should be watching or clicking into our Zoom. That was just for our guests. Anybody who is trying to get into our Zoom, you can find
Okay.
our show on Facebook Live. So, just log into Facebook Live, click into the search bar, We Don't Even Know. And that would be the appropriate way
Mm.
for you to watch our show. And so,
Yes.
Julie, you should be waiting for us to click you in after a bit of time.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for
So
clearing
yeah.
that up.
So any of you in our Zoom, that's actually not how to watch the show. You watch it live on Facebook on WDEK podcast, or you can go to our YouTube, just like Christian said.
And
So
that email that
thank
was
you.
sent to you is absolutely confidential. I please ask you that you destroy it within 24 hours. Thank you very much. Okay, so
Yes.
continuing on, Shanali.
So I'm gonna remove these folks. Sorry, guys. And okay, great.
We're good?
That's awesome. We're
Awesome.
good. We're good. Thank you for figuring that out. We love Julie. Yeah, Julie, have you not watched our show before? It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. But we love you. We're excited to have you. That's we're gonna introduce you in just a little bit, but I have something very important right now to share. Christian and I were together for Halloween, and um, we ended up.
Boom.
Can you figure out what those costumes are?
Yeah.
Um, Christian, can you describe what I was?
I mean, as you all know, Shanali is passionate about cheering and she's passionate about vaccines and protecting yourself from this thing that we
Mm-hmm.
call the coronavirus. And so,
Mm-hmm.
what better way to celebrate and bring both of those things together by going as and personifying a booster shot? So, as you can see, Shanalia has a big booster full of antibodies to protect me, myself, and I from this new emergent annoying strain called Omicron.
Yeah.
And so she is the booster. And yeah, that just anytime Shanalia gets a chance to cheer anything, she will. So this was her doing that and
I,
providing some
I
public health.
appreciate I appreciate that analysis, Christian. That was
No,
like a play by play on exactly where everything you felt my heart in that costume.
I
I
did. Now
appreciate
Shanalia, I put as about as much heart into a costume that I don't necessarily care as much about, but I respect where it came from.
Now, I do. I am a super huge fan of the artists that Christian dressed up as, and I appreciate his effort. I can't say anyone really knew what he was, but he was Little
Shanalia, you didn't
Nas
need
X.
to, why would you need to say that? Why would you even need to add that detail?
Just, just because, for those of our friends seeing you up there, like Christian looks great. Doesn't he look amazing? That shirt, that blouse, that vest, the bows on his head, the hat is really good. But just put it all together. Lil Nas X has so many different costumes. I'm just saying it's not that you weren't Lil Nas X. It's just that Lil Nas X isn't you all the time. You know what I mean?
That's
So
fair.
anyway,
That's fair.
yeah,
And it's true.
that
Not many
that
people
is a
knew who I
little.
was.
That's the fun. And we actually went to two Halloween parties like that, the one
We
after the
did.
other.
We did. We had a good Halloween. And New York was one of the best places to be for Halloween.
And that was in that little window again of not being super frightened
Yeah,
or,
right.
or
We could be,
nervous as vaccinated people,
yeah, right.
at being around. And then times have changed. We're not gonna spend too much time about it. But times have
Right.
changed. You guys be safe, be diligent, break out cases. My friends that aren't have don't
Yeah.
have the booster, some of them have gotten sick going out. So take care of yourself. But I just did have one more because we were going to talk about the other thing was Thanksgiving, which
Yeah.
was
Thanksgiving.
fun.
Right. Right.
And we, my parents and I, we play Scrabble. Like we will have a marathon. Jasper does not get involved because we are very competitive. It gets rough. It gets rough. I can't wait till you come join us. But there was a word that I put up on the board, and it made me think of you, Christian. And the word was chafe. And I don't know if you remember, but my dad was even like, "What is chafe?" I mean, because he's not using that word really. It's not, I don't know, it's just not that used. But I almost went into a whole story about Christian and the chafing in the summertime.
But Shanali, that's my
I did,
story. That's
that is
my
your story. So I didn't tell it. I didn't
great,
tell it.
great. Well, that
But
that that's I appreciate that. Because you know
but you
what?
know,
Next time Dillip sees me, what is he gonna think about? Chafing.
he,
If you told
but
him
he,
that story.
but see how it caused you to get a little smart with me right now? Like that's the thing. It's your word. It's your word. I didn't do anything. I just
Hey,
told you I thought
no,
of
no, no,
you.
no, 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 no. Let's make some distinctions here. I said that that was my story. I don't own chafe. I don't actually, I don't chafe. That's something the world should know now. I don't chafe. I don't need none of that gold bond, none of that. Nope, don't need any of that. So we've moved on.
Well,
That was a
isn't
one-off experience.
isn't that a good segue into because we were going to talk about uh
Oh, you just
your
going from good to great, aren't you? In this little
that
progression.
was what we were going to talk
I
about.
guess we were. Well, anyway, what Chanel is referencing is the fact that, I'm sure as all of you have experienced, as I have, your body has changed for a couple different reasons, age being one of them, and this thing that we call the pandemic. And like some of you, perhaps, I did my best to do my room workouts or this and that. But over time, I determined that my body was changing. And I went to a party of a mutual friend of ours several months ago, and Shalali was there. And I overheard him talking about a change that he had in his body that matched my own. And it's a little controversial, and I want to make sure that I'm using the right language, but essentially he was talking about developing man boobs, like substantial growth in this area that goes beyond just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, chest, like breasts were emerging. And the way that he talked about it was he noticed it when he was on the plane and he got some turbulence, and the turbulence was like, moving. And it was like, oh my gosh, John, yes, I have pandemic titties too. Like this thing has emerged. Like what the hell's going on? So I've characterized them in different ways. Chanel, I want to check in. Any of the language I say not appropriate? Should I reframe it?
I think that normally when I hear the word titties, I don't like it. I mean, I just said it, but I normally don't. But something about the adjective preceding it takes away. It just makes it a little more neutral. Like it can affect anybody. It can
Fair
affect
enough.
you. It can affect me.
Right.
You know.
I mean, for me, it's easier to say, like, to talk about and reference it that way as opposed to like
Yeah.
breasts. Like breasts just seem a little bridge too far. Anyway,
Yeah.
we connect. We're talking about it. Oh my God, the jiggling, the crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. So we talk about it on party number one. Then several weeks pass and I see him again at another party. And I can't wait to talk to him and like catch up. Like, what are you doing? Have you found anything? Like what's going on? So I go up to him in front of a group and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's up with the, And
Yeah.
he was like, what are you talking about, Christian? What titties? I said, John, the last time we talked, you talked about how the pandemic and how you weren't doing anything. It's like the jiggling, like all that. And he completely threw me under the bus. And then he like leans in and he's like, Peloton. So anywho, I'm happy to report now, Shanali, that now that you brought it up, I've been working with a personal trainer and recommitting to pumping iron, so to speak, and they have subsided. So
you know what I was gonna say, they definitely have subsided. Not that I noticed them before, but the fact that you're wearing a Big Dipper shirt that would accentuate.
Whoa. Like that's not for you to say. We don't know if it's the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper. Like
that's what I'm saying. Because somehow, if you did the way, if you could have seen yourself cupping your area, the Big Dipper or Little Dipper, if we want to call Little Dipper now, maybe it was formerly Big Dipper, now it's a Little Dipper, because it's cupping the area that would be considered your breast.
You know what? It's very strategically placed. So you're right, and it's appropriate. That's all. So thank you for asking.
Yeah,
thank you for asking.
You re-look at that, it's like the MC Escher, images where you can see different things. If you re-look at that shirt right now, it's like the right boob is accentuated. The other one's the little one. You got
all right. You know what? I don't like where this one is going. So let's move.
We are, we've been crazed from the holidays. I'm not even sharing the other crazy video I was about to share. We are eager to meet our guests for today.
We are.
It's a big deal. It's a very, very special episode today. And Christian, would you do
are you passing
the
me?
honors?
Oftentimes Shanali is tasked with introducing our guests, and she is given that task to me because of the person I'm about to introduce is someone that was born at the same time that I was, my twin. You only got one of those, and her name is Julie Felix, and she's based in Chicago. She is a subject matter expert and kicking butt in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. and she arrived there after a great and wonderful career in the nonprofit sector, working, addressing areas around microfinance and hunger. And she enjoys spending time with friends and family. I think currently she is in Miami with some of our family in a momentous occasion down there. And she also happens to be an expert throat scratcher, but there will be none of that.
Oh, Julie, we're going to go into that because I'm right there with you.
On the
That's
podcast.
A whole other...
I don't know if we necessarily need to do that, but this is my sister, my better twin half, so to speak. And so please put your Zoom hands together for Julie Marissa Felix.
Woo! Julie! Oh my God.
It is so Julie, good to see you.
It is so good to see you. I'm so excited here. Just so you know, Christian, first of all, doesn't normally do introductions. He'll do some. He did Joaquin's last show, which was great. But he made sure, outside of that last comment, to really give you respect. And I know he respects you, but I just want you to know that that was extra from him, because that's not that's not his demeanor on this show doesn't come like that normally. Like, that was something else. This show, which, you know, we've told you, it's celebration. It's also real talk about things in our lives. And since I'm going to say that, the fact that you and Christian were born together, they are twins, which is amazing. I think is such. I mean, I don't know if we've never had twins on our show, have we? Because we have a lot of friends there.
Well, yes, we did. We did have that twin brothers, or no, they're just brothers, they're not twins. So I think no, you're right. You're right.
First time.
This could be a first. Well, look at that. Episode 98. And it took you this long, Julie, to join us, but thank you for finally coming on to our show.
It is so great. You guys are two of my favorite people in the world. So thank you so much for including me. I love watching your podcast. Yes. Christian, I just have to say, from my vantage point, I don't see any panda titties. So, you know, keep the great work.
Look at that. No, pandemic titties, not panda titties. I don't look like a panda. That's even worse. Oh my God. I don't see any. Like, that's so like family. Like, you know, you say one thing and then it's like, I don't see any panda titties. It's like, no, I don't look like a bear. But thank you, Julie. You look fantastic. Are you enjoying Miami?
I am loving Miami. I am currently in my little cousin's bedroom, 11 or 12-year-old Emily. So thank you, Emily, for letting me, camp out in your room. Came down here to help out our 92-year-old grandmother, soon to be 92-year-old grandmother, who just packed up her house after 18 years. It was a total family effort. It went off without a hitch, and it's great to be down here spending time with people I love. So.
That's so awesome. Well, Julie, you know, I think of you guys are, Christian is so close to me, and via Christian, you are, you know, I feel like we're all related. And you, I feel like you come through for the family so often. I'm always over here standing up for you and saying, like, she does so much. Christian, what's the next gift you're gonna give Julie? Because you need to make it good.
You know, Shanali is mischaracterizing our conversations. I oftentimes am celebrating how much Julie does do for our family, and Shanali is appreciating that.
I am too.
So we have so much to talk about. I mean, do we want to start with what is current and what's happening in our world, or do we want to start with back in the day, Shanali? How do you want to approach?
Yeah, I feel like can we just get right to these photographs? We have to go through this. These are the best. I want everyone to recognize, like, because big part of the show is also Christian and I celebrating, like, our personal friendship and the things that we go through together. And you guys go way back. So I think I would love this.
That's one way to put it, Shanali.
Hey, I mean, Julie, you know Jasper did that painting of you two. You know, you guys, have you seen it?
I have seen it. Gorgeous.
So this is like the inspiration. I'm going to share this right away on the screen. Those of you listening to this via audio, this is a beautiful, beautiful pic of these two newborn babies that were side by side from day one. And I mean, that is so adorable. But Julie, what is your take on this photo? I love it so much.
Well, personally, I think our initial names, because neither of my parents had like determined what our actual names were going to be by the time we were born. They were still going back and forth. So I think we were baby A and baby B in these photos. I would love to hear from the guys that are watching, which baby, the right or the left, they think are me or Christian. I'm slightly disturbed, I have to say, by these pictures. Some newborns look beautiful and all rosy. When Christian, I mean, we're cute, but there's something a little different,
Speak for yourself, Joel. Speak for yourself. I gotta say, that could be my headshot today. I'm more than happy with how chill baby A, perhaps, I don't know, baby A, I don't know, looks in that photo. I think I'm doing some type of like sign with my.
I'm just gonna say that one of the things about the photo, first of all, it's so cute, but it is proof that the fact that Julie said that you took up more room, I'm seeing it. Like I can see.
I'm 5'2". My twin brother, on the other hand, is 6'1". And the way that we were positioned in the womb, he was like literally crowding me. He was just kind of like,
Okay, so now we need to show because that is exactly what I told Jasper, Shanali's husband, and he made this picture, which now hangs in my room to remind me of the womb war that I waged.
Keep that up. I'm going to showcase that for everybody. Okay, yeah, there we go. Everyone at home, I know there's a lot of people that know.
Down at the bottom, sucking my thumb. Meanwhile, it looks like, I don't know what my brother is doing there. There's something going on with the umbilical cord. Like the face looks very mischievous. I don't know what that's about. The fight for independence and respect between the two of us began in the womb many years ago.
Oh,
so Shanali,
I love
welcome to my holidays, and now you're spotlit. So I got to change that into my. So welcome to my holidays. We talk about womb trauma, and we get through that.
Well, this is the other, like, to me, this is the evidence I also needed, because for some reason this one made me cry laughing.
Okay, so Shanali, before we talk about it more, let's just say all the photos that have been chosen for tonight's show were selected by Julie. And
she's got good taste.
Clearly there is some bias attached to what photos were chosen. Now, I know that a lot of you are probably saying, oh, wow, look at the bully. Look at Christian. Oh, wow, he's just going in for the kill. What happened before this? I wonder. That wasn't captured on the camera to drive me such a rage. And look,
you don't sound convincing.
Into Christian's face, there's a slight hint of a smile, like he's taking some pleasure in actually hurting me and causing me pain. But that's fair, Christian. I mean, I personally believe that art is objective, and so it depends on what the viewer is seeing at the moment. But you're right. That's a fair question. What happened before we broke into a fight?
Yeah, and what generated so much joy of me getting a lick in to have, there's something connected to those two things.
I started laughing so hard when I saw that photo that Jasper was scared of me. And I just feel like I know those two people so well. It's like I understand, I just understand. And Christian, you're a force to reckon with. And I did feel like in that photo, the emotions that were coming from her versus you, there's something to that. Wow. I've been there, Julie. I feel like sometimes I've been in that situation.
Wow.
And if you notice, my hand is in a claw-like position, getting ready to strike back. I mean, we don't have any follow-up photos of what happened next. That can only be left to interpretation.
Let's just say it wasn't captured by an iPhone. A little bit before that, if you know what I mean.
Well, you know what? Let's just talk about you two growing up together in Chicago. Um, I know that, I mean, Chicago means so much to both of you. It's a big part of who you are, really.
Well,
That's
yeah,
how
let's just clarify though, because folks from Chicago are going to be like, where did you grow up? And if we say where we grew up, they're going to be like, oh, that's not Chicago.
That's not Chicago, right.
So, right. So it was Evanston. We were born in Evanston. And then when we were 6 years old, my mom and Christian and I moved in with my mom's parents, our maternal grandparents in Deerfield, which is about 45 minutes north of Chicago. I think Christian and I accounted for 99.9% of the 1% of diversity in Deerfield. Just to
amazing
some context.
Yeah, so in the time that we grew up in the Chicagoland area, it was still a very segregated city, and it still is a very segregated city. Evanston happened to be one of the towns on the north side of the city that was more integrated than most. But even within Evanston, there were pockets of white neighborhoods and Black neighborhoods. And now they've just undertaken the first initiative of everywhere in our country of exploring reparations. And of course, it's hit some pain points. Not everybody's happy. But that's where Evanston's at in terms of this conversation and reckoning with its past, where Black people were forced out of certain neighborhoods, lost their homes, etc. And yeah, so when Julie and I moved up to Deerfield, and as most of you who are watching the show know that we're biracial, like our family, we have an Irish American family, very large on my mother's side, and we have a Haitian American family on my father's side, and that's the family that my sister's with right now down in Miami. And when we moved up to Deerfield, we were the only Black people, other than a couple other basketball playing. Like I remember there was a coach for like the local high school that was African American, had an African American family, but other than that, there weren't many others. And so anyway, just wanted to throw that out there as a context in terms of like that most certainly informed like how we experienced the world growing up, for sure.
And Julie, for you, I think I remember a story about you standing up for Christian. Like, did you like stand up for him in school at some point?
I have stood up for my brother many times, with delight and with pleasure. But of course, being the protector that he is, and also, probably not wanting me to get involved in certain situations, he was always like, no, I don't need you to do this. Get out of the way. But no, I mean, certainly, I think because of our dynamic and probably trying to figure out who we were, because, although we're so blessed in the sense that our large extended families, my brother mentioned that my mom is, huge Irish Catholic family, the oldest of 12, lots and lots of cousins, and now cousins who have their own families. So really large family. And that my dad is one of 5, also huge extended Haitian family. So we were very fortunate and blessed to have been born into families that, where there's a lot of love and family is celebrated and people are friends, which isn't always the case. So we're lucky in that way. That being said, there was a lot of tension between our parents who, divorced when we were young. And so I think as a result of that, in terms of the two of us and trying to kind of identify who we were, not just as people in terms of our racial identity, but also in terms of a larger family setting, without having, strong parental examples in both of my grandparents and other aunts and uncles who have had really long, successful marriages, but our own parents, not working out. I think that sort of led to each of us wanting to protect the other in certain ways. And I mean, we're again really lucky. I mean, for the most part, although we were few among few of Black folks in Deerfield. I think because we were surrounded by so much love, we've always had a strong sense of self and identity as well. That being said, you know, moving up to Deerfield, the earliest recollection that I have of being confronted with color, and somehow the what would I say, the feeling that you don't belong here, is when Christian and I were about 6 years old, and I think we had just moved up to Deerfield. We were riding our bikes in front of my grandparents' house. They had a big corner house on the corner, and we were riding our bikes there, minding our own business, and a police officer stopped us and started to ask us what we were doing in the neighborhood and what are you doing here? And we were both, you know, like, just what? Like, we live right here. Fortunately, my mom was looking out the window, and so she was able to come out and kind of intervene. But I do remember that as being kind of a really early experience with racism. And, you know, of course, we experienced other moments like that growing up in Deerfield, and going to the schools that we did, which were also predominantly white.
Wow.
But
yeah, it's interesting. I
mean, I think that, you know, because of that, we both like felt a sense to try to protect the other.
A way to bring it back to the theme of the question, Julie. That's interesting. This is not your first time around the rodeo. We can see that. Okay.
Your shirt is helping too, Christian. It's like subtly, like subconsciously reminding me to connect the dots. So
exactly. This is your North Star right here. I'll respond to the fact that while our parents' marriage was short-lived, so much was working against them in the sense of like the state of the world. And of course, they weren't the only interracial couple, but it was the first for both families, and in many ways, like the last, which is telling, which is really telling on both sides. And I just think at the time of where the world was, how they weren't really set up for success. So I'll put that there. And it's so funny how you characterize the bicycle story, because I remember that as just being you. I don't remember being part of that.
Well, it might have been. I don't know. I thought it was.
And that's not really important. You know, that detail isn't really important because it would have happened regardless of whether I was with you or not. And I very well may have been. So I'm not like necessarily tied to that. The story, the important lesson in that story is that a 7-year-old child or children were riding their bicycle in the middle of the day around their neighborhood. And they were stopped by a law enforcement officer with a gun. And that's scary. Number one, scary encounter of dealing with somebody who has authority and who has the ability to kill you. As a 7-year-old, it's like, why are we talking to this officer right now? I'm not in trouble. I'm not in danger. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just riding my bike. And I don't think a lot or any of my white cousins who grew up in all the neighborhoods around us have ever experienced that, because I've never heard that story. They may have, I've just never heard that story. And so that is one way in which like our experiences of growing up in a very loving white family household in America at the time of which we did differs from their experience. And those kinds of experience, guess what? There have been more of them.
Right.
And we've gotten to a point now in our country where we've had the insurrection, we've had this resurgence of Black Lives Matter, we've had this kind of reckoning, and we see the pendulum swinging wildly back and forth. And it's interesting to see the different evolution.
One of your cousins just said, definitely never happened to me.
Right.
Chrissy.
But it's thank you, Chrissy. And it's interesting to see how their own growth and development in respect to these issues has taken shape. And some of them, like Chrissy and Michael McMenamin and Charlotte and many others, they've moved and they're making efforts in a way quite frankly, I don't see some other of my family members making. And yeah, so anyway.
Ooh, I like this. Christian's letting it out. Get it off your chest. We do have usually have a part of this show called Get It Off Your Chest. And it's nice that Christian's just using the show to get it off.
This show is about real talk, and I'm celebrating
I appreciate
celebrating the people that have done some moves, and I mentioned them. And I haven't mentioned the people who haven't, so I'm being polite. But anyway, Jules, I think that what you said around protecting ourselves and the impulses and what that is behind and what's under that, I can fully support. So I mentioned throat scratching as my it's one of a few pet peeves that I have.
Just before you get into that. Throat scratching.
Well, Chanel, let me finish my question. I just wanted to know what pet peeves you have of mine. So what are your pet peeves of me? So Chanel, before we get to that, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, I just wanted to also, because, since we don't have Justin the intern, I'm sharing some of the comments. Linda Parker Pennington just said, I thought Christian sweater was the Big Dipper. Now it's the North Star. I'm confused. Just let you know, people are checking you. People are checking you. Linda. But I love your question for Julie. Julie, I just stood up for throat scratchers. I'm a throat scratcher. My husband does not appreciate it. I feel like he should love me more because of it. So it's your turn to tell Christian.
Let me tell you something. Throat scratching is something that I hold very near and dear to me, because it is something that I inherited from my grandmother. And it's a family trait on the Haitian side of the family. I am not alone in my throat scratching.
No.
And personally, I really don't understand the issue.
Leave it to Julie to characterize it as. Leave it to Julie to characterize it as. Leave it to Julie. Chanel, let me jump in here. All right, I know you throat scratchers. This is the reason. This is the reason why your throat scratched, because you never. Be quiet.
And my aunt Cindy, she's acknowledging, she's owning it as well. She's
gosh, listen.
Thank you.
Your favorite people in the world are throat scratchers.
Okay, my mom throat scratches.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
get ancestral. Get ancestral.
I have never been with a man except my husband that doesn't appreciate it, that doesn't at least grow to love it. It's a part of me. And Christian brought that about you randomly as I was just thinking about this. And I was like, oh my God, well, we're two peas in the pods, but what is your pet peeve?
No. Time out. First of all, you the throat scratchers.
We got it.
I know. And guess what, Chanel? You dominated this conversation. Throat scratchers are dominating the conversation.
I just responded to her.
You all.
Do you want a demonstration? Do you guys want to?
No, we don't. No. All I want to say is that you guys have gone ancestral with your throat. Oh, my grandma, my great grandma, my great my like what the? This is not ancestry.com. Like
it is.
No, it's not.
Your other cousin Chrissy just said, "What the." WTF is throat scratching. So we need to educate. I feel like if Julie and I right now started throat scratching, that would free up this conversation.
All right. Anybody, real quick, in the Facebook, how do I put them on mute? I don't want to hear.
We need you all.
It is a deep guttural sound that sounds very soothing to some. I mean, it may sound like nails on a chalkboard to others, but again, it's all in terms of how you
get it over with. Get it over with. Do it.
Okay, ready, Shanali? One.
Yeah, you ready? I have to hold my. Okay, ready?
And we're done. All right, give them a round of applause.
Okay, Julie, I love you. I wish if you could just quickly do your pet peeve of Christian, that would be the best. Like we even this up before we get our next guest on.
I just said I love you guys. I adore you guys. Okay, so I have two pet peeves of my brother. The first one would also be a family trait, which he inherited. Now, which side it comes from, I cannot tell you. But my brother, when he falls asleep, he will wake a sleeping baby up. I mean, the snores, I don't even know how somebody can snore that loudly.
Yeah.
But I have to
Julie, you know what the distinction, Julie,
melatonin or something to help tune out.
You know what the distinction is between my pet peeve and yours?
What is
one
that?
of them is intentional, and one of them is done when I'm in an unconscious state. I don't know that I'm so I love when I'm woken up with my sister and she's like, do you know how much you snore? I'm like, oh my God, I know. I was snoring so amazing last night. I'm like, I woke myself up. It's like, no, I don't know. I was asleep. You know when you throat scratch. You know
we need to. It's not really a choice. If I have to do it.
But all I just wanted to do is that distinction. I wanted to make
allergies. It's a way of
allergy.
Fair enough. All right, listen, to my favorite throat scratchers, we are gonna have to move on from the show.
I have one more pet peeve.
Yeah, one more.
The second pet peeve is, so my brother's a phenomenal cook. He inherited that family trait as well. I'm still working on my culinary skills. They're coming together little by little. But when Christian is in the kitchen, do not even try to help him. I'll be like, Christian, do you need help with something? And he's like, yeah, just chop up this onion. And then I'll start chopping it and he looks over and he's like, oh, Julie, just let me do it. Oh my God.
We're gonna work on that, Jules. We're gonna get you in the kitchen this holiday.
I would love that.
But he needs to work. I love how he said we need to work on that. Okay, Christian, you got to work on that. You got to work on that.
Thank you, throat scratcher A. I will work on that, throat scratcher B. Thank you so much for this.
Julie, we love you.
Oh, we love you guys too.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Say hi to the family.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. Love you guys.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Love you.
All right.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even get to serious stuff with my sister.
I mean,
There's so much serious stuff, like the state of the world.
You did talk about a lot of serious stuff.
I guess we got a little deep.
Yeah, we did that. So I'm glad we covered both sides of that. You know, we got some get it off your chest, which was important. And then we got some other get it off your chest, which was not as important. It was both. It was good. I can't believe. So we got a lot of responses about the throat scratching. So there were a lot of yuck.
Yeah, you and Julie should start a band, the throat scratchers.
No, I'm telling you that people were on your side. Christian, slow down, calm down. Can you? Everybody's not against you. God.
Well, I'm not saying everyone is. I'm not saying everyone is, but you've been coming for me this entire show.
I am telling you that you had support. I mean,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, supporters.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I have people that say that like Loretta, who I want her to be a guest someday. She said, "Yuck, it sounds bad." So there you go. And then Linda said, "IDK about the throat scratching." So you got support, okay? So there you go. I am not after you. I am just sharing. That's it. But look, thank you, Julie, so much for being on the show. That was so fantastic to hear from you, see you, and
just took 98 episodes, but thank you, Julie. Thank you for being here.
But hey, we got our next guest here, ready to go.
Let's keep on moving. Come on.
So excited. I'm going to talk to him as he comes into our room. We have this comedian, actor. He hosts his own comedy show, his own podcast. We'll talk about it. And this is the fun part about being in the comedy world is befriending other comedians just via social media. And I started seeing our guests' videos online, and they crack me up. So funny. And so, you just start to get to know someone in a I think it's a personal way, even though you haven't met them in real life. But he lives here in New York. He has his own show called Harlem Evening Comedy Nights, and his name is Rashad Bashir. Let's hear it for Rashad. What's up?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Rashad, everybody got a lot more applause, but they're just on mute.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
okay.
yes.
It's all good.
Good to see you.
Good to see y'all. Thanks for having me on.
Of
And
course, man. Thank
Rashad,
you
your
for being
voice,
on.
I just gotta say, you have such a good voice. Christian has a great voice too, but your voice
Oh,
alone.
Rashad, you have a better voice.
Oh, thank you.
And it's
I
coming
hear it
through
all
on
the time.
AirPods, man. I got a nice microphone. You just using your little AirPods. Look at you with your nice voice. Okay.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I know you've been in this past 2 years, people haven't been able to perform all the time and
Yeah.
less so. And I looked at your schedule. I was like, Rashad is performing a lot, which is awesome. And I was worried we might not be able to get you on the show. So, but thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be doing this. I was surprised when you guys reached out to me. I was like, oh, okay. This is gonna be
Oh,
dope.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, honestly, like just being in comedy and finding other comedians in just through social media is so like for me, I'm like, oh my God, this is my people. This person is so funny. I like to think if you're really funny, you're my people.
Oh,
So,
yeah. We like to think that too. I
right,
like to think that
right.
too.
How was Thanksgiving? Where was it? Was it here in New York?
Yeah, it was my fiance and I, my folks, and my brother. I live in Washington Heights. They live in my old neighborhood in Harlem. So it was like a 10-minute walk for the fiance and
Oh,
I. Yeah.
that's nice.
Was this
I
your first time having a Thanksgiving with the fiance and the fam?
No, actually. We did it last year during the pandemic, but we made it real small. It was actually my folks, my grandmother, my fiance, my brother, and my aunt
Oh, wow.
was there.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my aunts. Yeah, she spent
oh,
Thanksgiving with us. So yeah.
Now, were you
awesome.
tasked, Rashad, with baking, cooking, preparing anything?
Actually, no. I just decided to make something on my own. I made like these. So last year I made like these little small beef skewers.
Okay.
Ooh.
So yeah, yeah. Oh, so I've been Chef Bashir in the house the
Oh,
whole pandemic. Yeah,
Oh,
I've
okay.
oh,
been
because
cooking it up.
wow,
Okay. All right. So you made
Yeah,
that's
some now I want to make sure I heard correctly. You said beef or beet skewers? Beef?
beef
Beef.
yes,
skewers.
Oh,
that
wow.
sounds
You
good.
brought some beef skewers to Thanksgiving. Okay.
So yeah, I made them with some like red and yellow bell peppers and
Nice.
some
Yum.
onions, and we had like a little grill. We had a little grill, so I cooked them on the grill and everything. So it came out really good. Came out
Awesome.
really good.
Yum.
Okay, so
So
that was
you
last
didn't.
year, and then did you do
I
that?
had to like
And what did you do this year?
this year. Don't because people question. They were like, "What?" I made salmon
Ooh,
and some honey glazed Brussels sprouts.
What?
ooh, I love it. That
Yeah,
sounds so good.
it came out real
Nobody
good. It came out delicious.
Man, I
see.
love watching you and hearing you talk about food. You light up, man.
Well. Yo, I be watching Chopped. Yo, the stress level on
Yes.
Chopped be crazy.
Let me tell
It's
you.
like
I,
they like 5 minutes, chef. I run in the kitchen. I'm like, yo, what's it? Yo, where the pepper at? Yo, I be telling my fiance, move out the way. I got 5 minutes.
I gotta find the paprika. I need the paprika.
I'm in the
I
house
had a
losing my
doctor's
mind.
appointment. It was a few years back, but the host of Chopped was sitting in the waiting room, and I was like,
Oh, snap.
I was, I was starstruck. I was starstruck. I'm like, oh God, I'm texting everybody. It's a host of Chopped. It's like, I wonder what disease he has. I'm sick too. But
so
That
yeah,
is funny.
so in
yeah,
addition to you're from New York.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
born and raised. And
yeah.
did you get into comedy? Like, were you interested from like a super young age, or like did you just kind of discover it later? Like, how did you get involved?
I was always a actor. My parents put me in youth acting programs when I was a kid because I had so much energy, and I just loved to play and just, you know, use my imagination. So at a very young age, they put me in this program called City Lights Youth Theater. And I did that from 11 till I was about 22. And every like acting year, they would have like these like improv funny roles. So I like to do stuff on the fly. I always liked the funny roles when I
You
was
should,
kid.
you're,
Yeah,
I mean, even these short videos that you put on IG, which everyone should follow Rashad. It's at R Bashir, Bashir underscore comedy, right?
yeah,
That's on
yeah,
IG. But your expressions, I mean, definitely you're made for the movies. Just to say, you
yeah,
crack me up in like 5 seconds. This last video, he's just looking in the fridge. He's looking in the fridge, and and you got the camera right. I mean, you got camera techniques. You know how to
yeah.
do it. He's looking in the fridge, and you got to see his face, and he can't find what he's looking for. I'm not gonna
I
get into
can't
it.
find the mac and cheese. I can't find the mac and cheese. And you know they do the voice to the voice to text, the text to speech feature. So I go in the fridge and I'm looking around, and it's like when you're looking for the leftover mac and cheese from Thanksgiving, but she ate it already, and you got the song smoking out the window, and you know the Bruno Mars part, and I look like this bitch, and I just
Smoking out the window.
because I saw all of these videos everybody was doing of like Thanksgiving and, you know, leftovers. So I put in my mind, I was like, I got to do something. I got to follow the trend. So I thought of that because my fiance loves my mom's mac and cheese. Like after we left,
clearly.
yeah, clearly. After we left, my mom is like, do y'all want anything? She's like, mac and cheese. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I'm
your
like,
mom was like, oh, we got some leftover salmon and some Brussels
like, no,
sprouts. She goes, mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. No, mac and cheese. Just like, she's like, mac and cheese. I'm like, you know, we got stuffing, we got
yeah, we got stuffing, we got turkey, we got yeah. No.
Hey, babe, we got asparagus mac and cheese. I was like, all right.
Now, Rashad, is Thanksgiving one of your favorite holidays, or do you have a more favorite festive thing your family comes together?
My family, we usually like back in the day, we used to come together on Christmas. That was it. Like Christmas, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas was the times my family really got together. We either get together at my grandmother's house or we got together at my uncle's house. And my uncle and my grandmother like cook like nobody's business.
Wow.
My grandmother used to cook, but she has dementia now, so she's bedridden at this point. So, but it was like Thanksgiving and Christmas. We'd see all the cousins. We come over, and it was the time like when I was younger. My cousin used to always want to come to my house because we had like PlayStation 2 and we had movies and we just have a great time and yeah. So Thanksgiving and Christmas were like my two favorite holidays. So, but now I'm an adult, and I was like, forget Thanksgiving and Christmas because I got to work.
Yeah. I gotta say, Rashad, when you talked about your grandmother and her being such an amazing cook, and now she's still with you, but dealing with dementia, which is just debilitating and probably a difficult to a degree of having a loved one going through that. I am a fan of watching old cooking shows, and there is a series that Julia Childs did when she was very elderly with Jacques Pepin. And it's at a point where I think that she actually had a tinge of the dementia, because the way in which she like approaches the recipes at this point is like, she's like, he's being very specific and particular about what he's putting in. And she's like, no, it doesn't really matter. If you don't have this, just do that, just do that. And anyway, like I could see how that can affect, people's ability to be in the kitchen. So it's nice that you seem like you're carrying the torch for your grandmother.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit. I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm gonna just like, look, let me make my salmon. Let me make my Brussels sprouts.
That's it. That's enough. Rashad, I saw your videos where you can dance. I mean, you know what I mean? Not everybody can dance. We know this.
Right.
We've all seen it. You see people that say they can dance and they can't dance. I mean, I'm also a supporter of any kind of movement is good. But some people can really dance. And you incorporate that in your comedy. And I got to say that some of what you did, I have tried to do, but not as well as you.
Oh, man. That's how I met my fiance.
You did? Dancing?
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Okay. So at the time, I'm working at Radio City Music Hall.
Ooh.
So yeah.
What were you doing? Were you an usher or like?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So this was about 2010, and so like at the end of the Christmas run, we do like a wrap up party where all the employees of Radio City get together. We have a good time. So the wrap up party happens at Radio City, and then we go to like an after party at like a nightclub or something that they rented out. So it's like January 2011. We go to this place called Club Iguana, which is on like 54th and Broadway. And we're there. And at the time, like I had my eye on her and she kind of had her eye on, we hung out a few times, but she didn't really know me like that because she just came at, I've been working there like 4 years already. So at the time, my best friend, he's taking dance classes. And I'm going to take the dance classes with him. And like and he's like trying to be this dancer and shit. And I'm like, my ego, like, you're not better than me. So we was like battling. So fast forward, he and I, we're battling on like the dance floor and stuff. We doing like intricate moves and stuff. And she's looking at me like, oh.
That's what happened to.
She's like, oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
it's real. That's real connection right there.
It's so real. So I don't know what happened in the night. I end up dancing with some other girl or something. And we're not together at this point. We're not together.
Okay.
And she comes over to me and she's like, I just want you to know that's mine. This is what she said to me. She's telling me I'm that. She's like, I just want you to know that's mine. And I was like, well, shit, that's mine right there. That's mine. So it was crazy.
I believe in the power of dancing. It's real. That is a real connection. And I'm just going to, expose myself right now, but I do watch The Bachelorette. And there are times, which tonight is like, I think hometowns or whatever. This current show, Michelle, it's like, and it's we've the first time and we have all Black people in the final. This is the first time in this show ever. And I'm going to tell you, some people, the people that couldn't dance, I know she saw some people that couldn't dance. I promise you, it made her cringe and she let them go. I know it. I'm sorry for those of you that can't dance. You can. Everybody can dance, but some people can dance better than you. And that's something you got to worry about. Just don't let your significant other see the person that can dance better than you. That's all you got to do is block their vision.
Yeah. I don't want to undercut the importance of this life lesson or your joy in bringing up The Bachelorette on our much better show than that. And, I'm
What
happy
you
that I'm
described.
happy. It sounds like can we, what's her name? What's your fiance's name?
Nicole. But
Nicole.
she goes by her poetry name, Nora.
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 Okay.
Oh,
Well,
she's a poet.
Yeah.
You
it
both
sounds like
artists.
you two are lucky to have each other, and her boldness has just proven more effective and wonderful than I bet you either could have imagined when you were back there at the Iguana. I have a question that I want to ask you that is a little more controversial in its, or perhaps it's not. Perhaps it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm going there, and I think he has established himself as kind of a provocateur and like keeping himself on the edge of pop culture and the edge of kind of like how we're figuring ourselves out, and I appreciate it. How up to speed are you with like his latest special and like any of the fallout that happened and like kind of like the whole conversation around cancel culture that it's kind of produced?
So I'm glad you asked me this question, and I've like looked at it and I've thought about it, and I was waiting for somebody to ask me about this.
Oh, cool.
So what he said, his special, I found it funny, and the things that the subject matter that he took on in his special was about a certain group of people, and I had to look at why he was being canceled and he was being protested about this. When I'm watching a comedy show and I'm sitting in the audience, maybe I'm just watching, or maybe, you know, I just finished doing a set, so I'm sitting in the audience and I'm watching. When comedians who are not of African American descent get on stage and make jokes about African Americans, and they say some things that are triggering to try to make it funny, it really gets to me, because I'm like, you can talk about us, but be clever, but also own it. Don't be hesitant in talking about and making a joke about things that African Americans go through, or our so-called, you know, stereotypes. You could just make it clever, make it funny, and make us be like, all right, okay, that's funny. And I say that because what Dave Chappelle did, he was making a joke about this community, about the LGBTQ community, specifically the trans community. What he was saying, a lot of it, some of it was like, wow, yeah, that was, but most of it was funny. My issue was they felt like they were being attacked and they weren't listening. Because what he was saying, he was just shining light on a lot of things that were the truth, but he wasn't saying things that would incite, that would cause the audience to come and attack the trans community. He wasn't doing that. He was just informing y'all, this is my experience, this is my perspective. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just making light of a certain subject area about this community, and this is what I find funny about it. Now, what I find ironic is when he was doing his bit, he was telling the jokes. He made this story. He was telling this story about this trans woman named Daphne, who had opened up for him, and she was horrible. She was horrible. She opened up for him, but he gave her a chance. He was giving her a chance to get out there, open up for him, even though she was not a great comedian. He still had her go out there, open up for him. Now, when a previous special that he did, where he talked about the trans community, and they came at Chappelle for what he said, Daphne defended him and saying, "Hey guys, what's wrong? He's not saying anything wrong. Why you guys attacking him?" And so the trans community attacked her. Didn't attack. They kind of attacked her bullied her on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I find it ironic that the words that Dave Chappelle used, you felt like he attacked y'all, but your words that you used against your own caused that person to kill themselves.
Well, okay, so let's you characterize the special, and you characterize a lot that was talked about the special, I think in a fairly accurate way. What I will add is that Dave Chappelle didn't make the explicit link to the bullying and her loss.
Right.
He said there may have been some other things going on. So I think that everything that you said is fair. I would offer to you, and this is coming from a person who I am a person of the LGBTQ plus community, and I'm not trans, but I was looking at it through that filter.
Right.
And just as much as you said, if I hear other people that are African-American talking about me, they need to be smart, they need to be clever. And you're looking at that through the filter of you being an African-American. Right. And all I would offer you is how the jokes hit your ears as being appropriate, being spot on, being accurate, being above board, might not necessarily track with people who identify as trans. And the other thing that is, I think, really relevant here is that it's a complicated space. Not all trans people feel the same way. I align with you on the fact of a couple things. First of all, I'm really happy that I watched the special. I think there's a lot of value in what he's saying in his perspective that he's bringing to this conversation. And I think people of all stripes should watch the special.
Right.
I also think there are a lot of things that he said in the special that were problematic to me and that I would want to question him more about or just challenge him more about. And so I think that, I think that he has set up the conversation in a very binary way of like us versus them, like me versus like this community. And he's treating this community as like a whole thing. And so I'm happy that we're talking about it, and thank you for sharing your perspective, because I think there's value in talking about it, especially as different perspectives.
Because I've talked to you, Christian, and I've never talked about it on the show, but as a longtime fan, I just as a comedian that I've respected for so long, I definitely was like, and who I keep up with comedy was like, are we still talking about this? Just as a show, I was like, are we still talking about this? I definitely laughed at times. Things where he's making fun of women where I'm laughing, but a lot of times I was like, are we still talking about this community? That was the thing where I was.
Right. I just felt like I'm watching it and I'm just in my head, I'm like, why is his whole thing about?
That's the thing. Right.
That's what confused me. So let me be clear about that.
That was confusing to me. What's going on?
Right. He stayed on that one topic too long. And then in my head, I'm like, all right, is somebody getting arrested right now? Who's getting canceled outside? What is happening? What is going on?
That's it, Rashad. And that's when you're questioning that, because we watch comedy all the time. When we're questioning that, then something's off, right? You know what I mean? Like you're like, why am I thinking about that? Like I have now been how many comedians I've seen, and I'm just rolling and rolling and rolling with them. And right now I'm not thinking about it because now I'm like, how long are you going to go on about this? Like, are we really still talking about
because
this?
I think that he had a bone to pick. He had an agenda. Like he
you're right.
He wanted to go there. And I think he did it in actually a pretty respectful way, even though I don't agree with everything that he said. I think he did it in a pretty respectful way. And it's clear that he's in his feelings about this.
But I think what
Rashad
pointed out, though, like, it's someone getting arrested right now. Like, there is some deep-seated stuff happening.
Right, but that my
point.
No,
I heard that because the alarm's outside. I was like, wait a minute, okay. The cops showed up. They were like, "Hey, let's not do this today."
Oh,
Yeah,
So I heard it.
and I mean, I think that my point is that like he obviously cared about stuff. He was being respectful. He wanted to go there, and he knew it was going to cause like the strong reaction. Rashad, I like how you talked about when you hear non-African American, like your ears kind of go up if they're like making
Right.
jokes about like us. And I have yet to hear a joke out of a white person or non-Black person's mouth that contains the N-word that I think is funny. Like I have yet to hear that joke. And so like I have like some, I guess there's a red line, or like I have like certain thresholds that if it crosses like that threshold, I'm like, that's just like a bridge too far. That might not be
Right.
that might not be you. You might be like, actually, I heard John talk about the N-word and he used it in a bit and I thought it was really funny. Like, I don't think I'll ever get to that place, right? And so I think that what I want to just end on is that even within groups, it's still a complex space.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
I can say it. And I give you a prime example on that. I was at the comic strip. I was doing like this bringer show, and I don't because I was trying to get into the comic strip. So I'm there, and there was a comic. This gentleman, he did a very tasteless joke where it's a lot in his premise and setup. He's talking about getting some type of fellatio from a young lady, and after he climaxes, he shakes like he's George Floyd.
Oh,
That
wow.
that right there, and then when the crowd groaned, he kind of was like, whatever. That's my problem.
Wow.
That is the prime example of that.
Right. Yeah.
Because you didn't, first of all, you can't really make jokes about that.
No.
Especially when there's people. I identify myself as George Floyd. Like throughout 2020, it was stressful for me.
Right.
Because I'm like, that could be me if I walk out of this door. If I walk anywhere. It was the emotions were high. It was just it really got to me, and I broke down. Right. I cried. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
It was very hard for me. And when I saw that, I was like, and that could have been me. And for somebody to try to make jokes like that and try to dress it up, I'm like, leave that alone. That's one thing.
Please leave that alone.
You need to leave alone, especially when you look like the person that did that to him.
Right.
I'm like, that is, you need to realize the emotional state of the world and of the people that we are in this time. You gotta use this.
And that, you saying that, Rashad, I was going to share, we usually share what's something that brings you joy, and just you saying that, because, and what Christian said, sort of like saying, hearing that set, even that Dave Chappelle set from the space of being a trans person. And I watched What Brings Me Joy this past 8 weeks is a show called We're Here. I was going to tell you, Christian, it's 3 drag queens. It's Eureka, Shantala, and Bob the drag queen, and they go to these small towns, and they will go to some very Trump, like conservative white small towns, and go in and have 3 people. They can be a man, a woman, they can be trans, non-binary, and they ask them to be in the drag show with them, and they get a community out. And this last show, and it's just every time I'm crying because I'm seeing people that have been minimized and diminished and hurt throughout their lives finally feeling proud to be themselves. And today's episode, well, it happened yesterday. I mean, this show is just so beautiful. It's on HBO, but it's like they're really confronting real people, talking to them. Like they'll be going out and sharing their drag show stuff with like at a race car track, you know. And some people are like no, but then they're like actually walking up. And this episode was all trans. Everybody was trans, and it was like a kid that's in a wheelchair who is proud, you know, and it's like I've gone through this and this and this. And then it was uh, a former macho man who used to ride a dirt bike, who does now, who was trans in the last 10 years and is now coming out, you know, to everyone, and another young kid. And I mean, I was in tears. These people have been frightened to be themselves. Anyway, I just say that just to say like what you're describing, and I was rethinking, hearing all those jokes from those ears, and like moments where they've been just hurt, you know, and it's like the set keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It's like, oh man, I've been pummeled for so long. So, and what you just said is absolutely true.
I'm loving this conversation. I want to end on a high note. So we'll
yeah,
move in a minute.
Joy. That show brings me joy. Just say we're here brings me joy.
We're here. I'll check it out.
Yeah, you do. Nicole will like it too. Nicole, tell Nicole. Nicole's a poet.
Nora.
It's poetry.
Nora.
You gotta call her Nora. She's got her. Yeah, she's a published author. Her book is coming out and stuff.
Oh, what's her last name? Rashad. What's Nora's last name?
Nora Oz. So yeah. So look up.
How do I spell it?
Pre-order.
OZ?
NORA_Queen. That's when
okay.
Okay. Maybe she'll be on our show sometime. I love that.
You know, I'm loving this conversation. Before we move on, I just wanted to say that it struck me that, you know, through a lot of both what you, Rashad, and Shonali shared, in many ways, comedy reflects the state of the world in a way, but it also, you know, at times, and I think one of the things that I love about comedy is it can bring people together, you know, in a disruptive way, in a new way. And anyway, like so I want to end on that. And I think that even in the divisiveness that Dave Chappelle is generating at this point, that ultimately I'm hoping somehow we're going to be able to, you know, figure out how to land on the same right here.
Yeah.
Now, Rashad, we're living in a pandemic.
Yes.
We're living in a pandemic.
Okay.
Clearly you are living your life, you're performing, you're going to see your family. I want to know though, in New York City, what is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to the pandemic? Do you have a pet peeve when it comes to the pandemic?
There's just people's irresponsibility. People, just people's irresponsibility. You know, that's it. Like, I'm vaccinated. Are you guys vaccinated?
Oh, okay. Woo! I'm triple.
Okay.
I got the boost. Get the boost.
Okay. My thing is, I still try to go get tested. Because people acting like superheroes out here. Yeah. It's like, let's no math. What? I'm like, no, your breath stink. Put that back on. All right. Cover that up. No. The biggest, I would say the biggest pet peeve is just, to be honest, I want more space. All right. I was missing when the trains were empty and I could get a seat and I missed that. All right.
I miss that.
Let's get back to that. Like room.
I'm with you. We're hanging out, like we're on the train. You can't help it. Eyeball anybody who doesn't have a mask. You're like, oh my God, what are you in here for? Go. I get out of that cart. I go to the next cart. I'm not sitting there. I don't want to sit with you.
No, and then people are so happy to be outside. They'll just sit next to anybody. I'm like, move. Like, why are you? Like, it's
Okay.
New York. Like,
all right, Rashad. I was trying to end on a high note. Let me ask you another question.
No, but now, yeah, we need the joy. We need the joy.
Yeah. So
question. What's
thank
bringing
you,
you
Janelle.
joy?
What is bringing you? Yeah. What is bringing you joy?
You did that
in this pandemic times. What's bringing you joy aside from cooking and your fiance?
Oh man, just going on stage every Saturday, doing my shows.
Tell us, where can we catch you? Where can we catch you?
I'm at Harlem Nights Bar every Monday at 6 and every Saturday at 7. Mondays
awesome.
I do an open mic, and it's called Harlem Nights Comedy Open Mic Show because I get a crowd. But there's like a competition called Paid by the Bell. Whichever comedian does the best set and gets the most bells in 5 minutes, they win cash. They win money. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
There was somebody that got like 38 bells in a row. And
Whoa.
just like, yeah, it's like, and
we
you know,
people
can, depending on like how many people's in there, you can win anywhere between like $20 and $20 because I'm not giving everybody a whole bunch. Like,
let me ring that bell for $20, man.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody gonna get a drink and hop the turnstile. Like, I'm not.
That's so amazing. And I saw a date. You guys have to go to his website. I did post. We post all your links. You know what I mean? But I saw you're gonna do Caroline's in January too.
I am. Oh, okay.
I think I saw that on there.
Okay, then I'm doing Caroline's then in January. Yeah.
I saw that middle of January. Yeah. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, middle of January. I need to know. Yeah, you know, it's news to me. Yeah, everybody gotta say about these.
Rashad, I gotta say, on your IG, I was impressed that fact that you list your Cash App and your Venmo right up top, and I gotta say, I'm thinking about doing that myself.
I think it's smart.
You have to.
You have to. You have to.
I show you what I do when I'm at Harlem Nights. So I've got this from a young lady named Vanetta Schofield. She's a entrepreneur. She works out of Atlanta. She put her Cash App and Venmo in a frame. So that's what I did. I put my Cash App and my Venmo and also my IG QR code. So when I'm collecting tips, whoever doesn't have like cash on them, I put these at like around the bar so they can just, you know, Cash App or Venmo me from where they are and follow me on IG.
Look at that. You just taught us something big.
You coming with beef skewers and you coming with salmon and you coming with tips.
I'm passing out my QR code with some Brussels sprouts. I was like, they're honey glazed. Honey, would you like some honey glazed Brussels sprouts?
You want some honey glazed Venmo? Hey man, you've been so generous with your time. We've gone so over. So
that was wonderful.
Back to Nora and Nicole Oz.
Oh, wait, Rashad, I was just going to tell you, I'll be in touch with you. I want you to be, I mean, I haven't been making videos this past, really, outside of me, just me by myself, you know. But when we get back to like making funny stuff, I definitely want you to be a part of it. So, you know, I make films. I like making goofy, funny, short films, long film, any kind of film. Yeah. I want you in there.
Rashad, I'm gonna come try to check out your comedy night, and the next time you make beef skewers, hit a brother up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna jump away.
I'm trying to be healthier and stuff. Meaning, my fiance's controlling my life, so that's what I'm. So So, you know, they be like, Rashad, you going vegan? I'm like, yeah, I'm going vegan, aka I'm a bitch. So I'm like, yeah, you need to eat. Why are you eating late? You don't need to eat late. You know, your back starts hurting. Your back starts hurting. You don't sleep. I am that. This is what I gotta
Oh,
look
man.
to when I'm at. You're gonna eat leg. I'm like, all right.
Well, you heard that the
All right.
last thing that we just said. Well, I was telling Christian, I was like, people say don't settle. When you find that you don't settle, and I'm like, but you do have to compromise, which means you have to settle because there
Yeah.
are things that you are with. I mean, my husband, I love him. He is awesome, but there are things I never thought I was going to have to deal with in my life from a partner, and I'm sure he doesn't like my throat scratching, so it goes hand in
I
hand.
mean, it
This
doesn't
just
end there,
wait.
Shanali, but we don't have time to talk about it. But I know, Jazzy. I know.
Oh God. Well, we could go on. Thank
Rashad,
you
I wish you
so
a
so
happy
much.
holidays. I hope that you enjoy. I wish you luck with those nuptials that are coming up for you. And
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you again, my friend.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Christian, Shanali. Thank y'all so much. This was so much
Thank
fun.
you.
I
We
had
are
a
gonna come
blast.
see you. We will be there. Mask on. We
Thank
will
you.
have a mask on.
Yeah,
Can't
mask
wait.
on. All right. Teeth brushed, Listerine. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna start selling Listerine flavored masks.
Oh, that's a
When
good
you
one,
breathe.
man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you breathe through the mask, the Listerine fumes just shoot in your mouth.
Yeah, and they shoot out. Why not do it both
Yeah.
ways? Give it both ways. No, send me that Indiegogo. I'm gonna hook you up. All right. On that note,
Yo, they got me Listerine mask.
yo, they got that
this is
Listerine
nice.
mask. You try that Listerine mask?
That's a joke right there. I'm
That's
writing
happening.
that down.
That's happening.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna write that down. You better beat me to the punch, Rashad. I'm gonna write it down.
No, hey, I'm a patent it. No,
Hey.
where's my booklet?
Yeah, I'm gonna trademark it. Then what?
You know what? Everybody just if y'all want to hear me write the joke, just send some money to my cash app.
Hey, wait, I'm gonna put you in the spotlight right now, just so everybody gets that. Yeah, there we go. Everybody, he's in spotlight. Make sure you scan that
all
right
right,
now.
Mr. Ryan.
Hey, let me move my finger out the way.
It's his Mr. Ryan joke. It's his Mr. Ryan joke.
Yeah.
Make sure Rashad gets that money first. Christian trying to take his money.
Woo! Oh man, you funny.
Woo! Well, we are so lucky to have you with us tonight, man. I needed that. It was like,
Yeah.
I mean, Thanksgiving, a lot of good times. I just flew back in from Tennessee, went to see my family.
Nice.
My headspace was like low energy, and I was like, this show always brings me back. Thank you so much, Rashad. And so we'll see you. Everybody needs to see Rashad. We will share how everybody can get in touch with you. Now we shared your Venmo, so it's gonna be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next? Your OnlyFans? Okay. On that note,
Goodbye, y'all. Take care. Bye.
Oh Lord! Oh man!
Oh goodness
Woo!
gracious, man!
Wow, that is
went
awesome.
all over the place, Shanali.
What a show!
That was delightful.
Yeah, it was
As always,
so fun.
thank you, Shanali. I want to thank our guests, Julie Felix and Rashad Bashir, and
yes, and you know what? I had two.
Encia.
I have two events I want to share with everybody
Please.
because they're important charity events via comedy. One is comedygivesback.com, which is on December 9th. Comedians, comedy clubs, venues all over the country are pledging to raise awareness of Comedy Gives Back and the Laughing for Good initiative. And this is a holiday fundraiser to provide a safety net for the comedy community with medical treatment, financial assistance, and more. I know mental health also. And you can help, and you text laugh LAUGH to 707070, and just go to comedygivesback.com. And then this Sunday I'm performing with some of our friends. Chelsea White's hosting, Kendra Cunningham, and it's for a nonprofit, and it's our first event called artistagainstviolence.net. And so the money is going to the Center for the Women of New York, and I think Safe Horizons. And it's at QED in Astoria from 3 to 5. There's comedy, music, silent auction. Go to artistagainstviolence.net. So those are 2 events happening right there.
Thank you, Chanel,
And
for sharing.
thank you, Christian. Thank you for being my co-pilot tonight. Usually you're my co-host, but co-pilot. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
That's what I could see and hear. The Big Dipper has something to do with that too, you know.
All right. On that note, I want to thank all of our listeners and our viewers, and I hope you enjoy some cozy, warm, healthy, and happy holidays.
I got my
okay.
slippers and my
Okay.
down pants. You guys join me. I'll see you
All right.
there. Now I'm gonna go watch the Bachelorette. See you guys later.
Bye.